Hey guys, I thought during my morning constitutional, there's a bathing bird. Well, let's walk around it so as not to disturb it. There's a swooping bird. Oh, too late. Oh well. Not on the power line, it's wet. I think as long as it doesn't touch another power line, it can touch one. It's if you touch two, then you get both two currents or something? I don't really understand it all. But I just finished a game, within literally like probably 5-10 minutes ago, called Vampyr. Although it might be nice to film it during the morning so that no vampires can get us while I'm talking about them. Vampyr on PlayStation 4. I told Jason Creelman, or James Creelman, I'm very bad with names, that I would make a video after I beat the game, because he was interested in playing it himself, but he'd seen some mixed things about it, so he wanted to know what someone's thoughts on it were, maybe someone he knows. Whoa. I gotta say, I really liked it. It was a really good game. I thought it was, you play as this character called Jonathan Reed. I'm not sure if it's a reference to Jonathan Harker from the old Dracula novel, it could be. The game's all about vampires, obviously. You awaken as a newly born vampire, you don't know who turned you into a vampire or really what a vampire is, and you have to travel around London searching through these neighborhoods and finding out not just about yourself but about the vampire epidemic as a whole, because it seems that there's a lot of vampires being made. So there's three kinds of vampires in the game. There's an Ekon, which is what you are, which is like just a normal vampire. There's a Skull, which is kind of like a mongrel vampire. It's like a dangerous, rabid kind of vampire, and it's all deformed. And there's... I don't remember the name of the other one, but it doesn't play much part in the game. It's just another enemy type. You face one as a boss, and then others, they don't really come up at all. It's like a big hulking brute kind of thing. It's very intimidating when you see it for the first time, but then later on in the game, when they're just regular enemies, they're not very tough at all. The game, it promises like choices and stuff, but in reality, it's very linear. I'm pretty sure the story is more or less the same every time. You do different things in the game, make different decisions, and that affects how characters will react to you, or if there's enemies in certain areas. Like, you play as a doctor, Dr. Jonathan Reed, a vampire, and he's trying to help all these people in these neighborhoods because they get ill, and he can make cures for their illnesses. It's like a character will have fatigue, and you give him a medicine for fatigue, and every day, like, you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, you level up in the game, and you can like spend XP points. You get experience through not just battle, but also by killing NPCs, civilians. The idea is that if you suck the blood of NPCs, you can get a lot of XP at once, but it also affects the neighborhood. Like, if you kill someone who's known to the neighborhood, then the next night a lot of people will be sick, and the shops will put up their prices because they'll all be worried about whether there's murders going on from the vampire plague. It's very interesting. It reminds me quite a bit of Pathologic, in that in the game, between each night, characters might die if you don't take care of them. It's very good, I really enjoy it. That's kind of the story and the kind of premise. Like, you're a doctor, you're helping people, and you're also exploring London to try and find out what happened to you. As you go through the game, you unlock more areas. And it becomes this pretty, not a big map, but there's a lot to do in the map. And you'll get to know the map pretty well. You won't get lost or anything. There were a couple of times I got lost in the game, just because I didn't understand exactly what the game wanted me to do. But there was one time when it said enter. There's a character called Alois. He's a billionaire or whatever, a very rich man. And you have to enter his mansion to turn him into a vampire. But you can't just go into his front door, you have to like go all around, but it doesn't tell you that. Like it'll point out his mansion on the mini-map, but it doesn't say how to get in, so I had to wander around for a while and I got lost trying to figure out how to get in. It does a very good job of making its NPCs feel more important than they are. And there are characters that it does a good job of explaining that like you can play the game all the way through without killing any of the NPCs, but you're going to be at a massive disadvantage in the combat. It's going to make it very difficult to try and defeat some of the later bosses if you haven't leveled up enough. Because you can get very powerful weapons pretty early on, but then it's hard to build up your health, build up your vampire powers, stuff like that. I found it very difficult anyway, so I had to kill a few NPCs. Not every NPC is like a good person. Some of them are like murderers, thieves. There's one called Fishborn, who is a mass murderer on a village on the docks. And he actually gives like a really big amount of XP, so it was actually a very good idea to kill him so that he wouldn't continue doing horrible things. Same with the first NPC you meet as soon as you get to Pembroke Hospital is a member of a gang, and he brags about all the horrible things he's done and how he's going to continue doing horrible things. And so the game's kind of telling you like you shouldn't try to save everyone. You gotta you gotta kill some of the people. Holy cow, look at this. Big branch fell down. I would have killed you if it fell on you. Yeah, that's heavy. No koalas in that branch, Catherine? Looks like the kind of tree a koala would go into. So that's the story of the game and how it kind of... I want to turn the camera around. So that's the story of the game and how it kind of progresses along. Over time you do find out about more like ancient vampire stuff, and it's all actually very interesting. It's a very interesting story. There's more to it than just like vampires attacking people. So the story and the characters were very, very good. Gameplay, it's a third-person action game, like an action RPG. People online I saw compared it to The Witcher, and I'll have to take their word for it because I've not played any of the Witcher games. I hear they're very, very good, but I haven't gotten around to playing them. But I really liked it for what it was. Combat is very similar to like a Souls game. Specifically maybe Bloodborne. You can get single-handed weapons, double-handed weapons, but you can also get a gun. There was a parry system in the game, but I never found a use for it. I never found it so difficult that I needed to use a parry. I didn't think any weapon I had could do a parry either. It was more just attack the enemy, dodge, bite their neck and drain some blood to regain some health where you can. But I stopped doing that in the game too, because you can make weapons that regain your blood power for you. Your blood is like your magic, your MP. You can cast kind of blood spells with it to hurt your enemies. It does get pretty difficult later on. I'd say there are two or three bosses in the game that really gave me some difficulty. There was the main character's sister. I think her name is Mary. She's a boss fight in chapter 2 or 3. I think in chapter 3. And she's very tough because she the toughest enemies in the game are the ones that spawn in enemies around them or make standing still dangerous for you. So one of the characters, Mary, she makes like blood pools around the map that you're fighting her in. And if you stand in one of those blood pools, you'll get knocked over and she gets 3 attacks on you. Plus she hits very hard anyway, so you have to go and level up before you battle her. The other one was Doris Fletcher, an actress. And she was very difficult to beat. I actually considered stop playing the game. I considered that I would give up. But I thought, I'll try another weapon, I'll level it all the way up. And I'll get some level ups to me, increase my endurance, increase my blood power, my MP. And I'll go back and fight her again, and it did make the fight a lot easier. I probably had to do that fight 5 or 6 times before I eventually managed to finally beat her. And the last one was McCullum. I think it was James McCullum. It's like the leader of an anti-vampire gang. They're like... So there's this gang of humans that hunt vampires every night, and you have to battle them too. And they're very tough. Later on in the game, they gain very high levels. You're generally always out-leveled in the game. Enemies always have higher level than you. But if you're aggressive, you can get the jump on them before they can even have a swing at you. I found that was the best strategy, just to use the Bloodborne strategy of keep attacking, then heal and dodge, and keep attacking. Don't stand still for too long, keep moving. And he was a very difficult boss fight. Had to try 3 times to beat him because he was using UV bulbs to kind of light up the battle area. So if you stood in those bulbs, it would hurt you. Let's go down the slide. It would hurt you to stand in the UV bulb, so you had to keep moving. But thankfully he didn't summon enemies. Doris Fletcher kept summoning enemies and poisoning you, which made it very difficult. Most of the times I lost to her were times that I wasn't even getting hit, it was just I was standing in areas where there was poison, so I got poisoned and died. But other than that, it's not too difficult. I beat the final boss on my first go. Which is strange. I thought this was going to be the hardest boss in the game, but it turned out to be one of the easier ones. This is going to wet my ass. Yeah, this is all wet. Whatever. I'm not moving anyway. The slowest slide. There we go. Ooh, I did wet my ass. Is my ass wet? Yeah. Wet butt. Alright, let's go. But I liked it. It was a good game. The graphics are very good. When you're talking to characters, you like these dialogue wheels, and sometimes their faces look a bit silly when they're talking.
Usually kangaroos don't.
Yeah, we'll have a look. But other than that, the game was very good. Music was fantastic. I really love when you go to bite someone's neck, an NPC, the music kind of changes. It becomes more sinister because you're doing something that is kind of seen as wrong. You're killing an NPC. It's a really good game. I definitely recommend it. Fantastic, really good story, good graphics, good gameplay, good music. It ticks all the boxes for a modern game. It's a completely thorough story as well. It doesn't go on too long, which I thought was nice. I think a lot of games these days are padded, especially with like they want you to buy the DLC, and they want you to get loot boxes or pay a bit extra to make a section easier, like Shadow of War. When I was playing it, you get near the end of the game, and then the game tells you, alright, go grind for 20 more hours, otherwise you won't be able to beat the final area. Or games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which have no ending, which I thought is crazy. I love games that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's what I want out of the games I play. But I'm walking into a lot of spider webs. Stupid spider webs. Yeah. It's annoying. Kathleen, why aren't you walking into these spider webs for me?
I don't know, I guess I missed them.
You duck under them. Because you're short. Hey, your path. Is that, what do you call it? Liminal horror? You don't know where it's going?
Liminal space.
Yeah, I don't know.
All of this would be liminal space. Because it all looks the same. But it only gets to you if you're on your own line.
Yeah, it could be disorienting here.
I walked down here before on my own, and it got to me. I didn't know where I was.
But anyway, about the Vampyr game. The game world isn't huge. I'd say it's actually quite small for a game these days. But I quite liked it. It reminded me of Deus Ex. Long grass. Watch out for snakes. It reminded me of Deus Ex Mankind Divided in that it was... There's a hopper. Need to see it. It was hopping.
No.
It reminded me of Deus Ex Mankind Divided in that it was a small game area with multiple areas, but it's very, very packed with things to do. There's a wallaby over there. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's very, very packed with things to do. That makes it very engaging to play. You don't get bored. There's no like long travel sections. Nah, it's wandered off. There's no long travel sections. I really liked it. I really, really liked the game. So yeah, James Krillman, if you enjoy those kinds of games, I think you'd enjoy this one too. Definitely give it a try. It's pretty cheap now. I think I paid $7 for it when I bought it a few weeks back. Might have been in my last pickups video. I didn't pay too much, but I definitely got my money's worth. I think I was playing it for maybe 15 hours. And the average gameplay online seems to be 15 to 20 hours. So yeah, that's it. I'll show you guys one more site. There's a cool site just up here. I'll show it to you guys. Right, so just through this path, you walk down a little bit. Not supposed to come in here. Kids used to come swimming here every weekend, and after school they'd come and they'd swim in Lake Aqua. This isn't even on the map anymore, you know. Here it is, Lake Aqua. That was probably the most popular one to dive off of over there. People didn't really dive from here because it's too high up, it's too scary. Plus it's very crumbly here, so I can understand why they didn't want people here. But over there it's rock. People used to dive off it. Kids used to love swimming in here. But someone died about 6-7 years back. A Arab fella, young fella died here, so they shut it all off. Can't go in the area at all anymore. Well, you're not supposed to. I think it's a lovely little area. You know, it's not dangerous if you're like back away from the shoreline. And I've seen cars parked over there, utes and stuff, so clearly someone comes here. It's all paved. Really not sure what the story of this area is. You're not supposed to be here. Let's throw a rock in there. There you go. Let's go, Catherine.